So let's take any questions we have. And keep in mind, folks, if you guys have any questions about anything like this, are interested in learning more, give us a phone call, 816-532-8451, and we would love to help you with it. Again, 816-532-8451. We'd love to help you get set up with DMR. If you need help getting the DMR ID, we can help you with that. Anything you need help with. Awesome. Here's a question here from Mark. Can the 878 do crossband, i.e. Transmit on UHF and receive on VHF? That is a great question. Let me think. It's been a while since I played around with that. So you can have, that is a good question. I believe you can certainly monitor both. I'm just trying to think if you can do that. It's been a while since I played around with that. Definitely, one of our techs could let you know in the chat. I'm sure they would have the answer for that. I don't know that off the top of my head. I know you can do dual receive or dual watch, I believe it's called, and so you can listen for both. But I don't believe you can actually do a proper like crossband operation like that. But we'll let you know in the chat. Awesome. Any more questions? Here we go. Jim is asking how to access the Discord server. So if you are part of BridgeCom Plus, you'll actually get access to an exclusive Discord server with all the BridgeCom Plus members. A lot of helpful information on there, so you can reach out, and if you need help at any time, there's a lot of helpful people on there, promoting the success they're having in the hobby with their DMR. But how to access it, if you're signed up for BridgeCom Plus, we actually send you an email with all the information you need to access that. So if you didn't receive that email, definitely let us know and we will send that to you. And if you're having trouble from there, definitely give us a call and we'll get you helped out there. Awesome. Jason asks, how often is the CPS updated? Great question. So the programming software, which we actually didn't use today, but in a lot of videos we use it, it's updated from time to time. From my experience, probably every 3-4 months. But it's always kept up to date. It more depends on if they find anything wrong with it. If there's a big bug, they'll get an update released pretty fast. If there's nothing wrong with it, usually it doesn't have an update for a while. So that varies greatly. But if your radio is working fine, I'd probably just leave it. But if you've got a problem, or if there's some new feature comes out, definitely upgrade. Let's see. Ray asks, what are the differences on the DMR mode in the CPS under the channel options? It has options for DMO/simplex, repeater, DCDM/double slot, and DCDM/TS split. That's a great question, Ray. So I have only ever messed with the DMR mode and the simplex mode. So definitely we can get back with you on that. Definitely maybe someone in the chat has the answers to that. They've tried those others out. And if not, definitely give us a call. One of our techs, I'm sure, knows all about that, and we'll get you that answer. But I've only ever played around with the DMR mode and the simplex operation. But fantastic question. Awesome. Let's see what else we have. Let's see. I Build Sheds asks, how do I add a tone again? Yeah, absolutely. So if you're using an analog operation, so we can have a look here real quick. So we'll go just over to channel 1. So if we go to menu, and go down to settings, channel set, and channel type, so we'll change that to analog. There we go. And then right here, right below channel type, you're going to have different tone options. So these are your different tone options. Excuse me, this is for transmit, that's for receive, and then this is for both. So if you have, let's say, just a transmit tone, you'd set it here. You can turn on CTC and then select your tone. Or maybe you have just a receive, you could do that here. or maybe those are different, so you set them both. Now, if both are the same, which oftentimes is the case, you'll just come down here, turn this on, and let's say you want to, 136.5, select that, and now you've set both of your tones, just like that. So if I went back in here, you would see it's turned on and set to 136.5. So there you have it. Hopefully that helps. Awesome. More questions here. Sam, WS4BSA. He's in here a lot. That's awesome. In the CPS, what is BusyLock/TX permit? How should it be configured for digital and analog? Yeah, so the BusyLock/TX permit. Let me see here. Let me pull up the CPS so I'm 100% sure what you're talking about. One second here, we'll get that CPS pulled up. I believe I know what you're referring to, but just want to double check. I know there's a TX prohibit, which I don't think that's what this is, but TX prohibit, what it will do is make it so you can't transmit. Let me pull this up here in the CPS. Okay, I think I know what this is. I think I'm familiar with this. I've never used this personally, so from my understanding, what that will do is basically allow you to not transmit if it's busy, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So definitely in the chat, if you folks know about that and have used that before, help Sam out, let him know. One of our techs would definitely know. So if you really want to know, give us a call, 816-532-8451. We'll get you the answer to that. But let me pull this up here. I'm assuming there's TX prohibit, TX. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that setting before. I believe that's what it does, but I am not 100%. So definitely help Sam out in the chat. Let's get him the answer to that. Phil asks, is it possible to set local TG talk groups between 3 radios without using a repeater? So I believe what you're asking is if you want to have just a talk group for 3 different radios with no repeater. So absolutely. We actually just did this in, well, that's a good point. You need some kind of way, if you're going to use a talk group on the server, you'll either need a SkyBridge, like a hotspot, or a repeater system to actually get on that server. Now you can have 3 different radios talk on DMR simplex with no server, but if you want to actually have a talk group, you will need access to the server. So whether that's through a hotspot or through a repeater, either way will work. You will need one of them. But good question, Phil. Okay, Drew asks, I have CPS 1.26. Is that the current version? And if you have to update the CPS, how do you do it? Good question. Yeah, so in the university, Bridgecom University, we actually show you how to update the CPS. There's a video in there that walks you through that. So if you have questions about it, definitely check that video out. If you're not having any trouble with it, I usually recommend just staying with what you have. That tends to be what I do, unless there's a new feature you want. I know a while back they rolled out the new menu system, which makes it a lot easier to use the menu on the radio. So like something like that is totally worth upgrading to. But if you're happy with it right now, I wouldn't bother with it. Let me see. I believe that is the latest for, that must be for an 878, not the UV2 model. But definitely you can check the support page for new releases. There's always, if they publish one and we approve it, we'll put it up there. Awesome. David asks, for the mobile version of these radios, can you add memory presets from the front panel on the fly while on the road? I don't always have my laptop and CPS with me. Correct, absolutely, you can. So the mobile is going to work just like this. You can add, add your channels on the fly. In fact, that is typically how I roll. Oftentimes, I have a lot of my, Brandmeister and everything programmed in my radio. But if I'm out somewhere, usually I'm on the fly and, hey, let's see if there's a repeater in this town. Or, hey, I want to tune into this frequency. I'll punch it in on the fly. I do that more often than not. So the fact that these radios make it so easy to do that, that is a huge plus for me. Awesome. We have any more questions here? Here we go. Let's see. Here's a question. 878. When we send info through, got a couple. When we send info through APRS by intervals, it only works on the main channel. When pushed as sub-channel, it doesn't work in that way. When we want to use regular channel at the same time. Okay. Let me understand this here real quick. Okay, I need to make main channel as APRS and sub channel for repeater. Is this kind of a workaround? Is there a way to push APRS channel as sub and make it work? Yeah, so hopefully I'm understanding what you're trying to accomplish here. I have not messed around with APRS a lot personally. I know some of the other guys in the shop have. I know enough about it to make it work, but that's about it. So I would not personally have the answer to your question, but definitely give us a call. One of our techs will be able to help you out. 816-532-8451. We can help you with that. Or in the chat, I'm sure one of these folks has messed around with APRS a lot more than I have and probably have the answer to that. But thank you for your question. Okay. Let's see, here's a question. How would a person that wanted to reset their radio completely after a firmware update erase all settings to start new? That's a great question. So if a person wanted to reset their radio completely after a firmware update and erase all settings to start new. So that's real simple. I'll show you here. This radio, we can go ahead and just factory reset it. So what you'll do is you'll turn your radio off. And then these two buttons on the side, the PTT button right here and the button directly below it. You're going to hold those two buttons down and now turn on the radio. Keep holding them though. Just like that. And you can let go now. You're going to get the screen. Are you sure you want to initialize your radio? Just click confirm. And at that point it's going to initialize. When it powers back up, it will be like a brand new radio. Philip says, my old radio can't hold contacts, memory not enough, are the, okay, I'll try to read this differently. His old radio can't hold enough contacts. He's asking if there's any way to get more memory for older radios. So unfortunately, the older radios, there's no more memory in them. There's no way to add to that, unfortunately. So a couple different options. You can either just not import the entire contact list. Your radio will still work. You just won't have all of that data for everyone. You won't see their call sign when you talk to them. Or you can upgrade to something newer like this radio right here, 500,000 digital contact list capacity. So that means you're going to be set for a while because they just crossed over 200,000 and that took a lot of years to reach that. So you're going to be set for a while with 500,000. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you learned something from today's video. If you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell next to it to make sure you don't miss out on any more great content. That's all I have for you today. I'm Cody, W3AMG 73.